Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Fernanda, and on this channel we talk about personal finance, investing, and I help you make that mindset shift to help you reach your financial goals even faster. In today's video, we're all going to go into a massive collective panic because it's the end of the world as we know it, the UK is in a recession, and we're all going to die. Except not really. Let's get into it. It's just typical, isn't it, that during the hottest time of the year, everyone is already at the end of their tether with this heat. The news are going to try to create massive panic on everyone by putting out headlines like these, and that's just ridiculous. But what I found is that when we don't know something, we're more prone to be scared of it. Fear of the unknown is completely normal. So I want to start this video by breaking down two key terms that will help you understand a little bit better what's going on with the UK's economy right now, and hopefully will help you make sense of everything that's actually going on. The first one is one that we hear get thrown around a lot, and it's GDP. So GDP is an initialism for gross domestic product. It's the sum of the value of all the goods sold and services provided within the country within a certain amount of time. And the second term is obviously the big one, a recession. The GDP of countries is typically reported every quarter, so every 3 months, and a country is said to be in a recession when the GDP of that country shrinks 2 quarters in a row. And that's exactly what's happening in the UK right now. Our GDP shrunk 2.2% in the first quarter of 2020. And now it's being reported that it's actually shrunk by 20.4% in the second quarter. I think the main concern is that the UK's drop on the second quarter has been the biggest one of all G7 countries. So I think France only shrunk by something like 10%. Japan and Canada haven't reported theirs yet, but no one's expecting such a big drop like we've had here in the UK. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you guys. That is a big number. 20.4% is a big drop, and it's actually the biggest drop we've had since records of GDP began in the 1930s. But contrary to what mainstream news articles might try to make you believe, it's not the end of the world as we know it by any means. This has very clearly been caused by the strict measures brought in due to COVID. So there's no doubt in my mind it's something that we can recover from, especially once we have a vaccine or the lockdown measures start to ease even more. And to be honest, if you are someone that has dealt with anxiety in the past, at this point, I would probably recommend you stay away from mainstream news media. This anxiety-inducing, panic-building coverage is just going to make you think that the world is falling apart, and it's not true, and it's especially not helpful. Let's just think about this logically for a second. The last Great Recession was only 11 years ago, and we're all still here, living, breathing, thriving, aren't we? Just think about this for a second. You've lived through a massive recession, you've survived a pandemic, you can do this. So whilst you can't control the economy and you can't control the Rona, you are in control of your actions and of your finances. So I wanted to talk to you about some very actionable things you could be doing to help you and your family get through this rough ride. Number one, and perhaps most important of all, is don't bury your head in the sand. It really is during the toughest of times that you need to be proactive. So if you're already in a position where you were struggling due to the pandemic and your finances have been severely affected, don't ignore it. If you are having a tough time, make sure you say something, either to your family or maybe friends who might be in a position to help, but especially to your bank and creditors. While some of the relief measures that were put in place in April by the Financial Conduct Authority to make sure banks were helping their customers are due to end in August, there are things your bank can do to help you on a case-by-case basis. So if you have a personal loan or you still have a big overdraft that you are going to struggle to get out of, make sure you say something to your bank. Don't just ignore it. And on that note, the second tip I have for you is just to ask the question. Get in touch with your bank and see if there's anything that they can do to help you, especially in regards to interest rates. They might be able to lower those for you. But also if you rent, get in touch with your landlord or landlady and see if there's any wiggle room in your rent. You'd be really surprised. I actually did this earlier in the year. I asked my landlord to lower my rent, and lo and behold, he did it. He lowered my rent by almost £100 a month. I can believe it. The fact is that many landlords would rather lower their rent and secure a good tenant rather than try to find someone else, especially in this economic climate. I mean, yes, I was embarrassed. Yes, I was scared to ask, but I also basically tried to convince myself that the worst that could happen is that he would say no. And that just goes back to my previous point of be proactive, ask the question. Whatever horrible scenarios you've got building up in your head, you know, it doesn't mean that they're gonna happen. And my third and final tip for this video, you know it's coming, now is the time to budget and save. If you've been running away from taking a good, hard look at your finances, then my friend, there's nowhere to run anymore. Just get it done. Get it done now. I have another video where I explain the easiest, simplest way to start budgeting. All you need is a pen and paper, and you can't ignore it anymore. But most importantly, now is really the time to beef up your emergency fund.
But Fernanda, I don't even have an emergency fund.
What? All joking aside, guys, I know sometimes it's really hard to even get started with saving, but if you convince yourself that you have no money left at the end of the month and that you have nothing to save, then guess what? You're right. This is a point that I make in almost every budgeting video. Your brain is lazy. If you keep telling yourself you can't do something, then your brain has no reason to try and work out a way to do that. So get started with your budget now. Write out all of your outgoings for the month and see if there's a subscription that you can cut out. At this point in time, if you have no savings, I would cut out any luxuries. So cut the gym out, cut maybe Netflix out. See if there's anyone you can borrow their account from and use it for free for a couple of months. I very sadly cut out Spotify from my life a couple of months ago because I'm trying to beef up my emergency fund. When you have a goal that you're specifically working towards, you'd be surprised at how many options your brain finds to get that goal done. So cut back on your spending, make your money go further, and beef up that emergency fund now. With all that being said, guys, listen, it's normal to worry. It's normal to be concerned. I always try to keep a level head with these things, but watching Sky News, even I felt the anxiety in my chest, and that's just not helpful. Don't get caught up in the alarmist headlines, and don't waste your mental energy on any of it. Trust me that there's more important things that you could be doing with it. Just remember this is all temporary, and that long term the economy will recover. Just think back to the crash of 29, soldiers returning to the workplace in 1945, the Black Friday in 1987, the dot-com bubble of 2001, and obviously the latest housing crash of 2009. We're all still here, aren't we? And when you look at the graphs, in the long term, the stock market only keeps hitting higher and higher records, so we'll be okay. I really hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please make sure to give it a like, because it tells YouTube that this video is useful and it helps it send out to even more people. And if you would like to see more content like this from me, make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. I post new videos every Thursday, and I would love your help in growing my channel so that we can get this information out to as many people as possible. That's it from today's video, guys. Stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!